Welcome to episode 175 of Drew Sports Crew here on a Wednesday. I know a Wednesday, interesting timing compared to prior episodes, I'd say throughout the whole series, but look, I'm back. You may notice again the new background. It's exciting. New stuff in the back. Not exactly the tops. You've seen the tops thing. The Brewer flag stays the same. We got a nice Drew Sports Crew thing then in the back as well. And excited to welcome you all here to a new studio. Again, look, it's exciting and looking forward to bringing you the same content as usual. Days will be back in line next week. Just this week was a little thrown off. Look, a lot happened too. I want to kind of wait after the All-Star game as well with the draft that going on. The Brewers, with the way they've gone the last few years, prioritizing high school players, trying to negotiate a better deal before they go to college. We see that again. But then also we saw with the summer league, we saw the Bucks. So pivoting here, look, this has been a summer league to forget for the Milwaukee, I'd say, in terms of the win-loss standpoint. It's been not so great. I think from a developmental standpoint, I think AJ Johnson, I think what we saw from him was pretty impressive. I'll touch on that here as we go along here on the show. But those are mainly the things I want to talk about. The draft, the Gary Trent signing, possibly the signing of the offseason, just in terms of what it was. A great deal for Milwaukee. I mean, they get Gary Trent to prove it here. And this is a guy who was averaging between 15 to 18 points a game, putting up great 3-point shooting numbers. He's basic. I'd say he's a better Malik Beasley, and getting him a guy who can play multiple positions, and I'll touch more on this too, is it's pretty huge to have. So love to see it. And you all know how we do our games, especially with no baseball right now. I mean, the Brewers, tough last week, but not too much to talk on there. I was at the game Sunday, but we do have an immaculate grid. I think we should be doing that. Have a baseball one here. Let me pull it up. Here it is. Oh, we have Brewers on here. A Brewer Silver Slugger. Okay, this is fun. All right, from the get-go, let me show you how many guys. I see Jeremy Jeffress. I just see him right away, and he just sticks out for some reason. I could use Chase. I always do Jefferson Anderson. How low do we think Jefferson is going to be? 0.8. Pretty good. Pretty good. Wonder if I could have tried to go lower there. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Giovanni Gallardo is probably high on there. Will Smith is. But for Boston, who could we say low? So I thought of Chase Anderson. Nobody thinks of Chase Anderson, probably on either team. I do always like going that way. I think it's safe because Silver Slugger, we can say something fun. I try to get too cute with the Silver Sluggers though, and I want to put like a pitcher in the NL sometimes before the DH, but it doesn't always work. I wonder if Lucroy won the Silver Slugger in 14, but then like Buster Posey, I can't. I put Chase Anderson here. He might not work just because like sometimes things don't update it, but he does work. He does. See. Okay, Tampa, Texas. Now we gotta get creative a little bit. A Texas All-Star. I think Odor was an All-Star with them. I do think he was. And we already messed up the grid. Well, I did think he was an All-Star. I really did with them. And it wasn't even me trying to choose a fun answer. Matt Bush. Matt Bush was an All-Star with them, right? No. Okay, those are both terrible. I'm going to forego the All-Star category. I never like those. I never do. I know who was. Brock Holt. Brock Holt was an All-Star. He's also a Brewer. 2%. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, I'm just going to forego those other two spots, and we'll get these last four. Milwaukee Brewers Silver Slugger. See, I would say Lucroy, but Cecil Cooper maybe. I could go that way. I don't even know what the lowest one would be there. Like, I wonder who you say. If Sexton won one, maybe like that, or Jeff Jenkins, but I don't think either of those guys would have won one. Um, do you think Cecil Cooper won one? I'm gonna say it, but it's probably wrong. He did. Wow. Okay. 4%. Good. So that's good for the Brewers. Tampa Silver Slugger. Um, they haven't been around as long, so this is probably like I thought of Longoria. That's like the obvious. That's probably the highest one. Um, there's some other guys you could say, but it's like yeah, he was gonna be the highest by far. But who else do you say there? Okay, Tampa, Texas, Tampa, Boston. Boston, Evaldi, nope. Um, I'll say Carl Crow. Oh, just speed run through these. We'll get into the Wisconsin sports side, but a Brewer that was pretty fitting there. Tampa, Texas. Who we got? I was trying to think of catchers. I feel like there's a catcher there. Obviously with Texas, it's been it was Garver and of course with Heim now. Rosarena, obviously not. He was. There's a pitcher. There's got to be an obvious guy at this point. I can't think of a guy. I'm just gonna say Rich Hill. That usually works. I actually think Rich Hill does work. Nope, doesn't. All right. Well, not a great go around there. That was a tough middle spot. I figured it would be there. Otherwise, yeah, should have got some of those all stars. Was just trying to be too cute with it. Let's get into the news here, though. Look, I'll start actually with the Milwaukee Bucks. We talk about the summer league. It's been a one to forget. They are 0-3 so far. Another loss last night. That game was late last night in Vegas. The roster, though, right, which doesn't have a whole lot of, I would say, firepower. The it's been the rookies, right? Those guys just trying to get minutes in. It's been some guys from last year just to get them more fitted for a game. So Andre Jackson's still getting minutes in it. The guy we've seen actually get a lot of good minutes is Chris Livingston, the guy from right. They drafted him round 2 last year out of Kentucky. He ended up just staying with the Bucks instead of going back to college, which was a little surprise there, just how it all shook up. Having him back though has been a very nice addition for this team. Livingston having him not a great showing per se, but he had 13 points, 12 boards, 5 assists. He just brings an additional energy, I feel, to the team. There were some times he got minutes even in the season last year for the Milwaukee Bucks, but just having him there was a really nice addition. Just Marjan Beauchamp cannot get it going offensively. That's been kind of a story. I feel like it's been he had some like bright spots, I'd say, in summer league the last year, but it just kind of hasn't gotten all together so far. He had a solid showing in their second game, like 19-11, but the consistency's been really the crucial part where we've missed from his game. And that was just a rough go around for the whole Bucks summer league team. And you don't expect the Bucks summer league team to be good. You just expect those guys to produce. You're gonna need the Andre Jackson, the Marjan Beauchamp. You're gonna need one of those guys this year to step up in order to make this team a viable contender. I feel so. That's kind of what we're looking at and hoping we can see. But I always like the summer league. It's a great developmental time for the team. I think overall, right, you like to see that. I do want to talk about AJ Johnson though. We did see. I mean, I went through the highlights, watched more of the tape. The tape still the shooting is he had some pretty big knockdown threes that were pretty nice, like on the right wing, middle of the game against the Clippers. Um, he was 3 for 5. No, he played great. Clippers, his best game, I'd say, by far. 22 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He looked good. I mean, I thought the strength of his game was his drives. There's no denying that. Um, I feel like he's a slasher through and through, but he was able to knock down some threes, and that was something you worry about a young player, especially in summer league. We saw some other top draft picks have some rough games, but able nine for 18, 3 of 5 from three. The confidence is the biggest thing, right? Are you confident in shooting the ball? I mean, and it's nothing against Andre Jackson, not AJ Johnson, Andre Jackson Jr. from UConn, right? The second year guy. Shooting the ball has been something I won't say he's fearful of or afraid of, but he's not looking to take the shots, and that's okay. But you need that guy in this offense, and in summer league, it's been AJ Johnson's been willing. In game 3, was able to as well. Chris Livingston is able to, with good usage, good minutes, put up some stats too. Those are two guys who we've seen make good leaps. Is kind of the report from summer league, and looking forward for that to continuously grow. UW Milwaukee alum Vin Baker Jr. also has been getting some minutes in summer league too. It's good they let him there. They had him join the team as well, but that's really the Bucks update on summer league. The Gary Trent signing for the minimum, right? I referred to it as the signing of the offseason, and especially for Milwaukee, an important signing, right? I mean, if this goes right for Gary Trent, this is a I'd say $20 to $25 million player a year coming out of this deal for him. If it goes raw, if it goes south for both teams, it's a vet minimum. It's a $4 million signing contract. That's something that you don't see often. I'm surprised that this happened. He could have went for a lot more. It probably would have been a multi-year deal, but Gary Trent takes the prove it year, which is weird for a player. I'd say of his of how he performs. He's been only in the league for 6 years, but he made a good leap over time with his time in Toronto. I think that's been the big thing with him. And he just came off a 3 or $51 million deal, and the stats, again, he put up some good stats. The shooting, though, inconsistencies with shooting kind of were seen as a flaw in his game, I'd say, but he's only 25. So getting him at this price, this point in his career, is pretty crucial and could lead to, this guy should instantly start for the Bucks, I'd say, but I was just going off his stats last year. He averaged 14 points a game. Right? You get 14 points per game, score 39% from three. I mean, that's pretty good, right? I mean, he came off of, or in 2021, he averaged 18 a game. The year after in 2022, 17 a game. So he's kind of been scoring or nothing, not a whole lot with the rebounds and assists. That's kind of affected his value, as well as the defensive end. But at the same time, he's been a valuable scorer in the league, and that proves to be valuable in the league, and especially amongst other teams too. So this could work out well for both parties. As different from Malik Beasley, he got a nice raise after playing with the Bucks this past year. I think he kind of paved the way, as did Damian Lillard with Trent, getting him over there as he did some recruiting there as he was in Portland. So you like to see that. That's the Bucks talk here on the show. Let's go over the Brewers here, baseball. So rough end of the week. This past week, rough before the All-Star break. The Brewers, though, still in first place. That's the bright side of it. They managed after really not being able to win games that down the stretch there. Beforehand, we talked like Paul Skeens had himself a day on Thursday. Brewers then lose 2 of 3 also to Washington. That was frustrating. They lose the All-Star game as well. Oh, well. It was cool to see Contreras and Yelich both start. I like to see that. I wish Brian Hudson should have been there. Probably should have pitched, but not complaining. We get him. He got a week of rest. We do have the schedule. I broke it down already on At Drew Sports Crew if you want to check out the content. Saturday and Sunday, only 2 games this week, 6:10 and 12:05, both in Minnesota. I got a fun one though for you. Saturday 6:10, whatever, Bally, that's fine. 12:05 on Sunday. It's on Roku only. Roku. So you have the Roku app, you have a Roku TV, you're fine. I believe is how it works. I don't think it's actually like a additional like subscription thing. I think it's just you gotta have the Roku. So just to advertise their product. But after that, then on they got a 3 game series at Wrigley. So what a treat! We get the Cubs again. So that's kind of what we're looking at here for the rest of the week for the Brewers stat wise. Um, Christian Yelich should be an MVP finalist. That's kind of the other talk. His numbers, if you compare him first half in 2018 to first half in 2024, his 2024 numbers are better. So that's usually a good sign for a guy like Yelich, but also in case he wants to make some noise for the awards. The reason I bring up it's actually possible is Shohei Ohtani's having an incredible year, right? No denying that. He's only DHing, and a lot of the advanced stat nerds, I would include myself in there, value the importance of playing defense. So there is a possibility with that. We could see that Yelich an MVP, but also the WAR could be a little inflating. I mean, Bryce Strang right now is a 4 WAR on Baseball Reference and was not somehow not an all-star, which I just it still baffles me how he wasn't. But that 4 WAR is also a little misleading in terms of what I mean. His defensive value is known, but compared to some other metrics, it could seem to be a little inflated based on defense is all. So that's the talk for the Brewers right now. They did have the draft. The Brewers industry wide have been the last 2 years have gotten great feedback on the draft, whether it's like LB.com or other sites. Even just scrolling X, you would see tweets saying the Brewers clear winners in the draft. Brewers with another great move, Arnold and team. But what the Brewers are able to do is this is something they've been able to take advantage of is getting high school guys at a discount really is what they're doing. But just to talk about the Brewers signing, like each team has like a signing bonus pool, and then each pick they have as a slot value, and they can overslot that pick, like overslot the money that's added to that pick to entice the player to sign. Right. I mean, we saw this last year when so it's Cooper Pratt. Signing him and getting him at a discount, or not really a discount, but they're paying up to get a guy, but they're getting him now rather than when he gets, let's say he plays a year in college and lives up to the expectations. Instead of being a second round player, he's a first round guy. And they've been able to just take advantage of that as small market teams have to. So they primarily go high school. We've seen this. They go high school early. They did that right away with Braylon Payne, their 17th overall pick, who was an outfielder. And then second round, they went first baseman. I won't read every pick, I promise. And from Tennessee, so Tennessee's first baseman for the national championship team, who had a great year. I really like both those picks. And then they went high school pitchers, which I don't mind getting the high school guys. They really focused on starting pitching. They solidified pitching early. I like that they went offense, let's say, outfielder and then infielder, and then they just went pitching. They just went to town with pitching. They got a catcher in there, but yeah, it was just all pitching. I mean, that was all you saw. Brewers load up on arms. That's what they want to do. And a lot of those pitchers who also have good experience hitting, they can always convert as well. We've seen them do that in the past. The one pick of note in round 19 was Noah Weck from Manitowoc Lincoln. So Wisconsin sports, right? Yeah, hometown team picks the guy in Wisconsin. That was really cool to see. Congrats to him, and we'll see if he signs. That's the other thing that comes into the account. As a lot of these guys have potential college offers and could easily play. They play at university. They boost their draft stock, get that slot value / signing bonus up to where they want it to be. So it's a unique opportunity that people are presented with, but there's also a lot of risk there, right? There's a lot of questions and so forth. So congratulations to all the guys who got drafted, and it's it's exciting. But um, overall theme of the draft was Brewers went pitching. I mean, from between rounds 13 and 5, it was just all pitchers. I mean, just lefties or righties, you name it. The focus was for pitcher in those rounds. They really went college arms too, which I found interesting. They started early with the high school guys. They ended more with the high school pitchers, but in that middle part, I mean, it was Tulane, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, TCU, Mississippi State. I mean, they were just firing off high school guys left and right, and it's not about like just nailing every pick. It's about doing your best to get guys who just are major league levels. I mean, if you think about it, how many of these guys are going to make the big leagues? And for any team's draft, not a whole lot. But I feel like a good goal in these drafts is not get that. If he hits, he hits. Like if you get the one stud, I know some might disagree. Like getting the one stud approach, you just swing for the fences. If you get a bunch of these solid guys who, if you feel have a good shot to make the big leagues, you're already doing something right. They make it to the big leagues. There could be value there. It's how they go from there, right? How they adapt, how they grow. So really like the Brewers draft again. Big fan. If you want me to grade it, I'll give it an A minus. A minus. I like the first round pick again, but as long as getting the high school guy first round pick can be seen as a cheap move by an organization, in this case, could be seen right with the Brewers, that might be a little bit what they're known for at some points. But again, fan of the draft. Go Brewers. That's overall kind of what I had here on this episode. Again, at Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, X, TikTok, you name it. Variety content this week. I built my best NFL team. I also ranked some MLB players. And overall things like that you can find, again, at Drew Sports Crew on TikTok, Drew Sports Crew on YouTube as you're watching, if you're watching live now, and then also at Drew Sports Crew on Instagram. So Journey to Million, I should add, we should be back tomorrow. I'll keep you all posted on that with the NFL offseason. As you know, it's been, especially with summer too for us, a lot of things going on as we took a Journey to Million trip too. But I will keep you all posted on that, and I hope you all have a great rest of the week. That's going to wrap it here for myself, Drew Skyberg. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.